actually really let you go, for real. As you, that comes after this part, thanks. As you're leaving the room, to take the actual journey through the eating disorder that we put together for you, it actually starts as soon as you leave this room. You'll notice on the right-hand side, there's some sort of post-work and artwork depicting the beginning parts of an eating disorder. You'll see some casual diet talk that we are pretty much all exposed to in our society today. A little beyond that, you will see some internal and external environmental factors that contribute to the development and maintenance of an eating disorder. A little bit beyond that, I just want to explain this part because I think for some people it will be clear, and for other people it may be sort of one of those question marks like, I wonder why they put that up there. People in our school systems today are exposed to a number of school assignments that can be extraordinarily triggering. And some of those assignments are actually posted on the wall. Some of them are real actual assignments and others are modified versions of them. And you will hopefully be able to see the emphasis on bodies, food, weight, BMIs, and competition that make people really insecure about their individual bodies. When you go around the corner, you'll find a little table. And please feel free to have a seat at that table and take a look at the television screen. And I'm sure that you will recognize a lot of the advertisements that are on that television screen. And while you're sitting there, we invite you to put the headphones on to begin to hear what the very beginning eating disorder voice actually sounds like. And preferably rewind it when you're done. And as you kind of get up from that table and you walk across, you will see kind of a display that talks about not feeling sick enough to deserve treatment. You know, I think that media has done an incredible job at depicting eating disorders as something that's very extreme, and that people have to look a little bit like the skeleton that's on display in the anatomy and physiology classes that we've all had in school. And the reality is eating disorders come in all shapes and sizes. But there is a phenomenon where people don't feel like they are sick enough to actually avail themselves to treatment that's available. And you can explore that a little bit. Across from that, you're going to see a display about what any person struggling with an eating disorder will see when they walk into treatment rooms. The BMI charts, the discharge summaries that list weight that make people feel uncomfortable, insecure, and triggered. A little bit beyond that, I think it's a beautiful display, but I'm slightly biased, this beautiful display of things that people say that are not particularly helpful when they find out that someone is beginning to struggle. You know, it's that sort of like, oh, I'd love to have anorexia for a couple days. I need to drop 5 pounds. You know, because that's what it's all about. And as what you kind of do from that point on is you're going to kind of go back and forth in the hallway. And you will see mirrors that show an accurate depiction of you. You will see a mirror that shows a slightly distorted version of yourself. You will see masks that people wear when they're trying to let you know that, or when they're trying to tell you that they're okay when they're really not, and how you might see through those. You are going to see an entire wall of roadblocks to recovery, and we encourage you to just gently lift up those roadblocks and you will see the way out and around those roadblocks. You will find another tape recorder. We invite you to put on the headphones and hear what the angry voice of Ed sounds like when your eating disorder has developed. You will learn about the levels of care that people come into: inpatient, residential, partial, and IOP, which is intensive outpatient programming. You will see the superhero masks that people have to wear when they come out of treatment because, well, you're recovered after 4 days of treatment, right? So what happens when you're trying to not disappoint people? And you will see some relapse and recovery curves that people have made, because relapse is a really common part of the process. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it happens to a significant number of people. When you go around the corner, everybody familiar with the Wheel of Fortune? Okay, there's a Wheel of Chance. What's going to happen to you in your particular eating disorder? Spin the wheel and find out. You'll see a game on the floor. There are 2 very large dice that you can pick up and roll, and it will tell you where to go. Keep rolling the dice. You may find yourself going in a circle. We put that there to signify the fact that people actually really get stuck. and you're just kind of going around in a circle and you can't break free. You don't have to actually keep getting stuck until you actually get out of there, but it'll give you an idea. If you continue to walk straight ahead, we have a memorial room. That is because, unfortunately, eating disorders has the highest level of mortality of any disorder in the DSM today. There are people that die from it, but in addition, there are some other things that die in the presence of an active eating disorder. So we invite you to explore that room. You can't miss it. It's the one with the luminaria in it. There's a memorial wall. If you know people who have passed away or dreams or hopes that have died, feel free to write it. There's a pen right under the wall. When you come out of that room and go to the left, you will find a healthy body, and then you can walk right into the room of recovery. You will find a large display of recovery wings for people who are flying high in the freedom of a healthy body now, and some gifts of recovery. There are some other tape-recorded sessions along the way. Please put the headphones on anytime you see them to hear the differences of how the eating disorder has progressed, but please definitely try the headphones that are in the recovery room to see the differences between those voices. It is a fairly sizable display. We hope that it really helps you to gain a deeper understanding of eating disorders and the struggle that people face. I also want to mention that at the conclusion of this, Shannon has her book, Why Can't You Just Eat, with her, and she is happy to do some book signings. She's also happy to answer questions, as are any of the panelists. If you're not, I just roped you into it. There are a number of staff here today that will be kind of milling around. Feel free to grab any of them to ask any questions. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. And I would love to have a round of applause for this phenomenal panel that came out today. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your understanding, and passion with all of us today.